Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We are here in Morgantown, West Virginia with Brother Kip, and it's a beautiful masjid, and today they're having an open house. Unfortunately, we won't be here because you guys know we're on the run. But we're going to have an opportunity to learn a little bit about, what happens here and the type of impact that Muslim Americans are making, in their neighborhoods here. So Brother Kip, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Kip Kernut. I am the religious coordinator here at the Islamic Center of Morgantown. So basically that means I'm responsible for the imam duties, giving the Friday khutbahs, leading the prayers or arranging to have people lead the prayers, putting together the prayer schedules, organizing events like this. So the general religious welfare of the community, trying to look over that and make sure that we have the proper things instituted to help our community.
Excellent. And your wife tells me that you're an entrepreneur as well.
Yes, as well. I have a halal restaurant, me and my partner, who's a student here from Saudi Arabia. So both of us are students as well. So student in the university, religious coordinator for the masjid, and owner of a restaurant. So.
And what is the name of the restaurant?
Gulf Grocery. So
what type of goods do you guys
do? We do halal meat and grocery items, but also food as well. We do fast food, sandwiches, burgers, American food too, chicken tenders, things like this, but all halal. We have a lot of international students here, alhamdulillah, over 400 from Saudi Arabia, around 200 from Kuwait. Lots of international students, so we like to provide the kind of food that students want to eat, but that's halal, so that they can have that halal option here.
That's amazing. So if you're ever in Morgantown, West Virginia, you have to stop by his store. That's the spot. So let's move into the meat of it. We want to know how this community is making an impact on its surrounding neighborhood, in the business, educational, social, political side. How are Muslims making an impact?
I would say the main emphasis here is important, what you said, educational. This, at the root of it, is a college town. This is where the University of West Virginia is. Everything in this city revolves around college life. You experience it here in the masjid. I experience it in my restaurant. You'll see a funny correlation. When exam season's coming up, you'll see attendance in the masjid coming up too. And then I'll see attendance in the restaurant going down because people are busy studying. So really what we try to do, what I think really needs to be our goal, and what I try to focus on, is equipping our youth to be able to be those contributing members of society. Now we have, you had the immigrant generation. You had lots of people that came here from overseas and tried to just establish some kind of roots for a community. But now they have children that are growing up, people that were born in the United States and raised in the United States. And this is really the generation that's going to have the big impact on the surroundings. But they have to be equipped. They have to understand their religion, but they have to also understand their country, how it works, how the world works. I mean, we live in a global world now. So you have to understand how different systems work and different schools of thought and different ways of looking at the world. So I think really the important thing is raising our youth and also communicating with with the non-Muslim people, to everybody, to really be educated, to understand each other. That way we can really contribute to the society. You can't contribute to American society if you don't know anything about it. So to me this is really the important thing, to have the proper comprehensive education. Because we have problems, but the big problem is you have people that study religion,
right,
and you have people that study the secular sciences.
Right.
We need people to have a comprehensive understanding of both to really be able to
polymaths.
Right, exactly.
Education, right? What is the best way to provide that education to the people?
I think we have a big problem. I gave a talk last night in Pittsburgh at a masjid, and somebody said, it's great we hear these talks, but how can we benefit from them? And it really made me realize that we have an attitude now about knowledge that is just about information. We want to be like databases. We take in information and we store it back in the hard drive back here somewhere, and you only pull it out when it's time for the test or when you want to say something impressive. But really, you have to understand the knowledge and be able to act upon it. And that comes not just from information, but interaction. You have to be around the right kind of people. I mean, we have a Quran teacher here who comes on Sunday nights. Alhamdulillah, he's amazing in his tajweed and studied with great scholars in Syria that have their chains going all the way back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the main reason I come to sit with him is because you can tell he's somebody that understands and practices the religion. And when you're around them, you can absorb that understanding somewhat.
You make a very fundamental point here, is that, and these are two things that we're really trying to push here, is that the tradition of the Prophet, peace be upon him, it's not something that you read about. It's seen on a person, right? That's one point. And the other point is this, is that real education, I think, to your point, whether it's internal to the Muslim community or external to the non-Muslim community, is got to happen when you engage.
Right.
You have to engage.
And think critically, too.
Right.
It's not just about taking information
Right.
for granted. It's about taking it, questioning it, looking at it, picking it apart, putting it back together, and trying to really get an understanding of it and how to apply it.
Excellent. So, what do you think about our trip here?
MashaAllah, I think this is a great thing you guys are doing. One problem that I think we have in the Muslim community in America is we're very closed off from each other sometimes.
Right.
We have our communities, and alhamdulillah, we have very strong communities, but sometimes we stick to ourselves and we don't take advantage of the resources that we have spread out across the country. So this fact that you guys are going around from state to state and meeting people in one community, and you can bring us news from where you just came to, you can tell the people where you're going about what we're doing here. I think this is a really good thing to be able to, foster these connections between our different communities. And also, mashallah, I'm very impressed with your intention to make as much as a creation testify for you, giving the adhan as possible. I think that's a very beautiful thing.
Inshallah, we can only hope and try. The last question I'll ask you is this, is that of course we have the advantage of viewership, at least for the next 35 days across the United States and across the world, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. What positive message do you have for the people out there?
I would say to people mostly to have a good opinion of Allah. This is fundamental to being successful in life. I see many youth and young people, and not just for Muslims, for anybody, and even if you don't believe in God, have a positive opinion in general. But many people, they come and they say, I'm having problems with my faith, my iman is weak. And I say, well, have you made dua to Allah to strengthen your iman? And they say, well, I didn't even think about this.
Right.
How can we have success in anything, especially our belief in the way we live our lives, if we don't ask Allah to give us success?
Absolutely.
So that's my biggest message I would like to say is, to ask Allah to increase you in your iman when you're having a hard time. Don't rely on yourself to be able to do it, because you can't do it yourself.
Jazakallah khairan. It was a pleasure, and your hospitality and generosity is humbling, and we're happy that we're able to be here on this day. That the interfaith dialogue is taking place that we won't unfortunately be here to see. All right. Don't forget #Mu'adhin. All of the videos and the photos will be uploaded to our website, www.mu'adhin.com. And we're, of course, all over the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, YouTube, Snapchat, all these things. Thank you.